My name is Mallam Hassan Sule, the acting chairman, FCTA, Universal Basic Education Board, Abuja.
Let me ask you, sir, there's rumors all over places, like rumors, I think, but let me ask you, FCT has not been paying teacher salary. How true?
Well, I think before I answer your question, let me briefly tell you our mandates. Number one, FCT, Universal Basic Education Board, is saddled with responsibility of ensuring that every child of school in FCT gets access to quality education. By so doing, having the enable opportunity to explore their potentials. And not only that, the Honorable Minister of State, under her purview, owing to the enabling budget she gave us, FCT is already setting a standard for the practical implementation of the nation's Universal Basic Education Program in consonance with the technology program and best practice. Back to your question. To the best of my knowledge, we have two sections of teachers. We have FCT teachers and local government teachers. For FC teachers, I don't think under the present administration, since Her Excellency Dr. Ramutijan Aliu came on board, FCT is not owing anybody a dime as far as teachers are concerned, including promotions, as at December. However, at local government level, certainly you'll be getting some little hiccups, some problems. Why? Because of accumulated arrears owing to non-payment of promotions, upgradings, and annual increments. And this development sometimes is on account of local government chairmen not actually heeding to the request of the earlier secretaries. That's on one side. And number two, sometimes the earlier secretaries, maybe because of pressure on their part, they will be going out of their way without consulting the area council chairman and give a replacement appointments. And if the area secretary is not on the same page with the chairman, certainly a problem will be created. And I think last year I received a report that some teachers, specifically in Buhari Area Council and Gwagwalada Area Council, they were not receiving their salaries after posting them to their various schools. Swung into action, made the two chairmen of the two area councils and the area secretaries. That of Gwagwalada Area Council, he set up a committee that verifies some of these teachers. And those that were seen to have authentic documents, I think commencement for the payment of salary has already taken effect. I think that process has been leading to rest. But that of Buhari Area Council, which is a bigger problem, I met with the area council chairman on 3 occasions. He even visited me with the promise that he's going to profile the employment processes and see their documents so that he'll be able to write officially to Jack so that the cost implication can be captured. I also invited the area secretary. Why did he allow such thing to happen? Based on his own response that he made the area council chairman and he gave him the go-ahead. But one thing that is certain is that if such go-ahead is not backed by a document, either from MC to UBEB here or from the area council chairman, I think it's a very wrong step. And I've already conscious about this. Happened around April 2020. That was nearly 8-9 months before coming back, before I ascended to this position. But however, certainly being the new person at the head of affairs, I have to ensure that the needful is done. And I think they are working out to resolve that issue now as I'm talking to you now. So I think the NUT chairman from Buhari will confirm that to you.
Are you now saying categorically that no teachers will be on salary?
From FCTA UBEB?
Yes.
No teacher. No teacher.
Let me go straight to another point. We get from our information, some people say from 2020, they've not been paid. We now say it's because of the people from LA that have been given appointment that are responsible for this?
Certainly, these are category of teachers that actually got appointment from the early years, likely because they did not seek permission from the area council chairman and they didn't write to the board. And as I've said, if such thing happen and they are not on the same page with the chairman, for instance, I'll give an example, clear example now. From reports I received from the Buhari, the chairman of Buhari Area Council is an opposition, PDP, right? While the area secretary says at APC, but that aside. With that development, they are both on different platforms. And certainly he will not work with whatever the Buhari man is going to. But that was the excuse that the area secretary Buhari told me the last time he met me. But I said even then, to play safe, hence this involves payment. Ordinarily, you would have sought for his consent first. But he said he sought his consent. He gave it the approval. They even brought some candidates. But as I've said, without approval, he has to write approval to do this. Then you bring it to FCTA for documentation. And this will now finalize everything. But if such is not done, then I think the chairman will now have the excuse that actually he didn't consult his. There's no paper to back such a discussion.
We find out from reasonable source, I don't know how true it is, that the so-called people then that will be engaged unauthorized. Mm-hmm. The Honourable Minister in his own way has already captured the payment as such cannot be paid. Do you get that question?
Actually, I know.
Do you get my question, sir?
I understand what I'm going to say. That one minister has already captured them.
Even provide them.
You see, sometimes you go, she gave me this match order to find out what actually was the bottleneck. And that's what prompted me to go to Buhari to find out what actually the matter, the case. The area council chairman visited me in my office also on the same issue. And I told him that what I'm telling you now is I'm going to brief the honorable minister. Because under her purview, nobody's rights should be abused. You are getting me? Yes. And the area council, and I think I'm also working in tandem with the NUT, finding out whatever I'm hearing from the area secretary and from the area council chairman, what they are telling me is true, because they are on ground there. But the person I'm receiving, what I heard last was that they are profiling their documents, they are scanning them to ensure that those that were actually employed, they have genuine certificates, they have genuine documents, and then after getting all these documents ready, they will write to Jack. And the Honourable Minister of State, she's doing everything humanly possible to ensure that this problem is actually put to rest by advising us to work with the area council and the area secretary to ensure that this staff that were employed, they're actually being given the desired attention and their payment commence with immediate effect.
Is it true that she has mandated secretary to provide the affected engaged personnel for further necessary action? Because they deserve to be paid, they work for it.
Yeah.
Is it true
that
she has already mandated the secretary to provide them?
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. Not only the secretary. Already, if she has given me directives that we should inform them to provide this and pay them, because she gave us these instructions, and by extension, she has given that a mandate. And the area secretary, I invited him here. That is the directive from the Minister of State, and he has shown me they've already profiled this stuff. In fact, that's about 2 weeks ago, likely that they've already profiled this stuff, and he was with the area council chairman. And soon as, maybe before end of this month or early next month, a letter to that effect will be written to Jack. That's what he said.
Area promotion, what can you say?
Area promotion, to be candid, our staff, both LEA and FCTA UBEB, I think for the last, since assumption of the last 2 years, I think they started actually promoting with about 12,000. And that of FCT, immediately promotion is released, payment takes effect immediately. And arrears were paid as soon as funds were available. And I think as of December, I think everybody was paid. I don't think anybody is being owed any promotion arrears again.
We found as well that the outstanding arrears all approved for payment and on HM's table for further necessary action.
It is true.
True.
It is true. That is a good, that for the area, for including area councils.
Yes.
Yeah, it is true. She has given instructions and she has given directives for all areas. Both adjudges have been advised, even the chairman, to ensure that the need for the teachers' salaries and arrears, promotion arrears, upgrades, and annual increment should be paid immediately. And she has taxed them. Yeah.
Right as HMS table for approval.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, Ninoshe, just what do you say about her?
Actually, I can say she's an Amazon of education. Why I say she's an Amazon of education is that, number one, since 2020 when she assumed office, FCT Universal Basic Education Board has succeeded in constructing about 780 classrooms. 780 classrooms. Besides that, we also rehabilitated about 2,750 classrooms. Besides that, under her purview, training of teachers was also effected. About 5,000 teachers were trained, and also another 2,750 were trained on science and mathematics and science-related subjects. Besides that, in order to create access to education, more schools were established. For instance, ECCDE, primary schools, and junior schools were established within this period to give access. Because, for instance, give an example, like a student from Paso. After primary school, they used to trek to Guagualada or to Dubi to access their basic education. We said this is about 5 to 10 kilometers. But she gave directives. Junior schools was established at Paso, where pupils can just transit from primary to the junior secondary school. This actually took place under her purview. Besides, more than 150,000 assorted textbooks, mathematics, English, basic technology, were distributed to schools. Sports, not left out. ECCD materials, that's early child care, not left out. And also, the physically challenged were not left out. Prompt payment of their feeding allowances were actually made under our preview, because we have about 5 boarding schools where we have school for the blind, school for the deaf, special needs, alcohol model girls schools. Whenever somebody got to our table, she cleared them, I think, and that gave us the opportunity, especially the alcohol girl child school at Lugbe. You know, in FCT, we put in practical terms the support given to girl child to ensure that every girl child in FCT get access to quality education. And that's one of the reasons why Alco Model Girls School is made a boarding school, so that full-blown academic activities can take place.
Sir,
Let
me ask you a very important question, sir.
And having said that, the FCT Realms of State, she is now under 2022 budget, want to establish what we call smart schools. These smart schools, when it comes to effect, will want even expatriates, diplomats, start patronizing our schools. This is going to be a whole school environment. We are from ECCD, primary and junior school, with first-class equipment, so that they can compete favorably with global dynamics.
What has been her efforts on enforcement of minimum wages in the FCT?
I think the Honorables of State have done a lot in that aspect. Let me tell you one thing. Nationally today, it is only in FCT that implementation of, in practical terms, minimum wage is taking place, only in FCT. I used to be the president for the education secretary in Nigeria, so I know the workings, I know the language across the nation. Number two is only in FCT where you see payments of rural allowance, urban allowance, and TRC certificate. It's being paid to teachers, only in FCT. And this is courtesy 100% of state, because UBEB is under 100% of state. And one cannot say that Elizabeth that jumped for high local to say, no, I'm praising, it will praise itself. She's doing well. Because I'm talking to you now, in Nigeria, it's only in FCT, locally, with intervention of the state, we're implementing minimum wage across our schools, both UB and area councils. As I've said, it's only in FCT where all the aspects of payment, rural, urban, and TRC have been paid. It's only in FCT. So I think that was I term as an Amazon of education. There is one thing that she did that I think other states that are trying to emulate us now. What is it? During the COVID-19, when every school closed down, children were just walking around. We met her and she said, what do we do? She said, why not we should go on online learning for students? And with our support, we're able to introduce what we call FCT UB Learn at Home. These are programs that have been aired over radio and television. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays, between 1:30 and 3:30 on daily basis. It's with our support. So if you want to log out to see what we are doing, you go to YouTube. You see FCT UB TV. You log it, you will see some of our teachers, what they are doing there. This is for schools during that COVID-19, when everybody was at home. This will give access to children that are at home so that they can be able to have access to lessons.